Hi, and welcome to the MTG Podcast, where we talk about Magic the Gathering and the topic of finance, as well as news and other types of Magic-related activity, I suppose. You're welcome to join us here for episode 32, another big episode, and this one's actually a special one where we're on location here in Raleigh, North Carolina at Sir Walter Raleigh Coffee House.
That's right, Sir Walter Coffee.
Sir Walter Coffee, and with me as always is my co-host Evan.
Hey everybody.
And I'm Andy, and we're happy to have you with us on this special little cast, on location coming at you, something new and unique.
As always, make sure to check out the website. Andy always puts the juicy tidbits up there, and also if YouTube is your thing, make sure you go there as well.
Yeah, we're drinking some coffee, and we've also been drinking some Magic lately. We've been playing lots of Magic this weekend. I know everybody's bubbling with the spoilers for the Spark.
That's right. We're a little bit excited. Some of the cards look pretty good.
So I know, well, let's dive right in. War of the Spark, the spoilers, we're getting lots of spoilers every day now, more and more news on that. More of the mechanics have been revealed. It's looking pretty exciting.
And I know we've talked about this before, but I'm not sure. I think we've talked about this before, but what's your favorite location to check out spoiler information?
Honestly, I like checking out spoilers on MTG Goldfish because they have a page for all the spoilers. They're all sortable by color.
Oh, it's sortable.
It is sortable and filterable by color, by rarity. And it also, on all those results, includes pricing.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
I like to see. I like to see potential. It doesn't have prices for all of them, but it does have it for some of them. So it's nice to see that information as well.
Excellent. I've gotten a little bit lazier. I've been using the Mythic Spoiler website. For a time, that website was actually problematic, but it's since been resolved, and I like how it's all visual. I like seeing the actual card. So, and I think at the Goldfish they do something similar where the
absolutely, we have all the card images
visual
on the Goldfish as well, and the Goldfish has been great overall for its overall content and financial information.
Yeah, I think overall it's good. I don't know if I totally agree with the politics of the people that run the Goldfish, but that's a story for another cast.
Maybe we'll talk about that at some point.
Yeah, some funny stories there,
But yeah, so that's a good place to look for spoilers. New cards are coming out and spoiled every day.
It looks fun. I'm sort of looking forward to the Planeswalker heavy environment. Some of the mechanics seem good.
So we saw two new mechanics, at least that I could think of. Proliferate and Amass
I love the Proliferate. It's a fan favorite for me.
I agree. We haven't seen that since Scars of Mirrodin and that block. That's pretty cool to see that.
I enjoy the Proliferate too.
Yeah, it was good. But that fits perfect. Obviously with Planeswalkers and loyalty counters, Proliferate's almost like a no-brainer for having as a mechanic.
Do you think they'll reprint the clock spinning? That was one of my favorite.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Add a counter or remove a counter of any type.
Yeah.
I feel that card was a card that needed some love and some attention, and I thought always was just on the cusp of being great.
Yeah.
Because it was, I believe that was the one where you could add or remove a counter of any type.
Any type, which made it very...
But it wasn't quite powerful enough to really break out, but I think in the right environment it could. So,
and it was a common too, wasn't it?
I
believe it was a common.
It was. It had good art on it too, if I remember. Was that a Time Spiral card, I believe?
I believe it was.
That block?
Yeah, I believe it was a Time Spiral.
I'd be curious to see how the pricing goes, if there are any Planeswalkers that really want to tick up and could use that share blue,
Yeah.
I'd be curious. I haven't really paid any attention to that, and I don't really pay attention to commons really too much. It's too hard to keep track, but every once in a while when this sort of situation pops up, it makes you think of an old card that has never been reprinted. It
would be interesting to see what the pricing is on that and some of those old ones, like the counter ones. Because I do have a deck or two that does some of those little more
have an extra upkeep,
cheaper
an extra counter.
Things. Yeah.
Be curious to see.
And I guess the other one, Amass, where this is a new one, so it's a mass and then a number, so a mass 1, which is put a +1/+1 counter on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first.
Oh, wow. Bear with the noise there.
So you're getting a ticked up zombie, effectively.
Oh,
that can get bigger and bigger.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out. I guess...
I like things that passively grow.
Yeah,
and again,
passively grow, and then of course we've got other things that interact with zombies and, +1 counters, so...
Be curious if things are born with a mass as well. Let's see, at the beginning of your life...
They are. I believe there are some things that start off with a mass to begin with.
Now that seems like all you need is time at that rate.
Yeah.
And again, like the cards that give an extra upkeep or something. I can't remember that one Haze card.
The Paradox Haze gives you extra upkeep.
Things like that would be super fun with a mass, right? All of a sudden, your things are getting +2/+2 a turn.
Yeah. Oh God, that's really powerful.
It's going to get out of hand quickly.
Exactly. Although, just looking really quickly at the cards, I'm not seeing... It looks like most of the amass stuff are sorceries or instant.
Oh, really?
Or enchantments.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any that are just straight out
on the creature itself.
Creatures. Although I could be wrong.
Some of the rares that'll be spoiled.
No, here's the creature. The Gleaming Overseer does have a mass, and a pretty damn good one too.
Wow, it's a 1/4 to start with for 3 mana, and it grows every turn, huh?
It grows. Well, it only happens when it enters the battlefield.
Oh, I see.
The amass, yeah.
See when Gleaming enters the battlefield? Oh, yeah, I see.
So we're talking about the Gleaming Overseer.
Wow, 2/5 for 3 mana. Seems good.
But that's on a separate creature, remember. Put a 1/1 count on an army you control if you don't create an army.
Oh.
So you're getting another creature out of it. But in his case, man, that's... Even just for any other deck, the zombie tokens you control have hexproof and menace.
And he is a zombie wizard.
And he is a zombie himself. That seems awesome.
Zombie tokens have hexproof. Wow, and menace. That card's a great uncommon card.
I would say that's an amazing uncommon.
Wow, 3 mana for a 1/4 that gives your tokens
1/4 that gives tokens and creates another token.
And typically the zombie tokens are 2/2 tokens. They're not even the 1/1.
Yeah.
Giving them a menace can end a game pretty quickly.
Yeah. So we'll see how the amass turns out.
I'm looking forward to the proliferate as well.
Proliferate
amass
is good.
plus proliferate is great.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
So amass is in what color is that?
Well, we've seen it in...
I believe we've seen it in...
I think it's almost... We've seen it in blue. We've seen it in black.
What was the creature we just saw?
That was blue-black. Okay. That was a zombie. I'm not sure what other ones have it.
Seems like it would be a green thing, but...
It seems naturally green, but I'm wondering the amass fitting the flavor of a zombie army for Bolas seems more black-blue.
So what do you think about the creature type coming back to vehicles? Are you excited about the vehicles?
I never liked the vehicles. I thought that was a weaker kind of construct and more for a flavor kind of thing. We saw them first in, I think, Kaladesh. And I just, I've never made a full vehicle deck. I was never that interested.
I never did either, but part of the reason for that was because I wasn't about to start with just after Kaladesh came out. I would have had to wait until Ether Revolt came as well, so I at least had access to all the vehicle cards. Yeah. And I didn't really play very much during that time, so that was a little bit of a dead time for me. So I never really went to it, and I never made a deck around that, and I never went back to it because, like you, I was never that enthusiastic about it. Now that we're going to see more of them, maybe you could have a more viable deck. I do like how the new ones, there's like advantages and disadvantages to the new ones, and one of the advantages is that they have other ways to become crude in some cases. So, like this Mysium tank that we're looking at,
this is a new one, 2 red, 1 colorless.
So that brings up another thing. These are not colorless necessarily any longer, which I'm hugely not a fan of on its face. I don't like the idea of colored vehicles. On the flip side, they seem to have other ways to become crude. So this Museum Tank, which is 3 mana for a 3/2 trample, is in red, and it may become crude by tapping a creature or by casting
a non-creature
spell. So if you cast like a sorcery or an instant, and that's really the only kind of deck this would probably go in.
Exactly.
Because it would be a 4/3 trample with after you cast like a shock or something. So it fits in some of these decks that.
And this is a rare.
It fits in some of these red deck, rush styles. I don't know if it's good enough for that really, but
if it was haste, then I might be a little bit more on board.
Yeah, but for 3 mana and 2 reds, I don't see it really being worth it, and I don't know.
Or 1 red, I'd be more.
Yeah, if it was 1 red, maybe a little easier to get out, but you really have to be strongly in red for this. So I'm not that enthusiastic still about the vehicles. I'm slightly more enthusiastic about them because, say for the sake of argument, there are vehicles that I'm on the fence about, and there are some really good vehicles that are in a color that I like. Maybe I would consider making a vehicle deck.
Exactly, and I do like the fact that, as you said, like the alternate way. If you cast it, it can become an artifact creature, which then can attack. So you don't have to worry about the crew part of it, I guess, which is a nice bonus of that.
Yeah, it gives you another way to not just be sitting there with a useless card.
I would hope that more of the vehicles are like that. I guess we'll see, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something different. I mean, we keep seeing things like that. Well, what was it? I guess colored artifacts back in...
That's true.
Mirrodin? Or, Scars of Mirrodin?
Initially, I didn't care for that either. I think that was even during, was it the Alara block, I believe.
Was it that far back? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Alara, we had
first started seeing colored artifacts.
Ether Sworn stuff and...
Yeah, and at that time I was not very enthusiastic about that either.
And, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So so I didn't care for that initially. I thought that's dumb, but maybe I've come around to that more. But so maybe the same thing will happen with the vehicles. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it too. I understand for flavor purposes. Well, actually, for flavor purposes, yeah, I guess it kind of works. In general, though, when I think artifact, I think colorless, and I don't.
I agree.
It seems like that's kind of a natural thing for that. And then by exposing it to colors, well, now we can have all sorts of interactions by being a color and an artifact.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see how this plays out. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath, but we'll see. And I don't know how it even fits in the flavor of the set very much either. But it seems odd.
Exactly.
It almost seems like it's being forced because they either didn't come up with something better or. I don't know, they were just looking for something that was maybe underwhelming as a mechanic because they know that the boxes are going to sell because of all the planeswalkers. So they're like, let's get this crappy mechanic out of the way so that we can save a better mechanic for later. So who knows what's going on in their minds, But it wouldn't surprise me. Like if I had something awesome, I would also pair it with something sucky. Because you can't have too many sucky mechanics in the same spot, otherwise people are going to be ticked off. And because everybody's going to be just going ape over the planeswalkers all over the place, that is going to sell boxes for them regardless of any other consideration.
Yep.
Bear the noise here, a big truck's passing.
Yes, we are outside on location. We are in the natural environment.
We are in the wild.
We are in the wild. Well, I guess that's a good point too. Speaking of planeswalkers, this is a planeswalker-rich set.
Absolutely.
And traditionally in the set you had maybe 2 to 5 planeswalkers, and those were usually the money cards. The planeswalkers were very expensive. I think even Teferi back from Dominaria is still worth like $40 or so. Now we're having 36 planeswalkers revealed at the moment, and who knows, or maybe it's going to be total. I'm not sure. And we do have some premium ones, obviously.
Yeah, the mythics.
And even just looking at through the spoiler, even when we see Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, going for almost $50 alone.
A little pre-release pricing, so
so we will drop it down. But do you think the overwhelming amount of planeswalkers is going to dilute all the pricing?
You know,
or is it still gonna have some that are just gonna be stronger than others, and that's just how it is?
You know, it's a good question. I think that it will sort of steal from the specialness of the Planeswalker subtype or card type.
Yeah.
And you know who I especially see this hitting is probably who hates it the most is the collectors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, there are people out there, probably a substantial amount of them, that collect every Planeswalker.
I'm working on that myself.
Are you
slowly? Okay. And not very actively.
See, the problem is, it's like so hard to catch up, even now, when they're only releasing 2 to 5 a set.
Yeah.
But imagine all of a sudden they're going to release, like, and you know what, not only that, like collectors, they'll collect a foil of each one.
Exactly.
Do you know how hard it is to collect a foil of everyone when there's like 50 in one set? Very challenging. So, you know, so I do feel that they're watering it down a little bit. And I also feel that they are potentially, I don't know really how to say it, but I think they're shooting their load all over this, and
they're going all in.
Yeah, they're going all in, and I think it's probably a money grab for them. We haven't had like the spring set. We haven't had the big money set yet. You know, and so I think they're planning to sell a ton of these boxes, and I think they were pushing the Planeswalkers into the boxes for the purpose of selling lots and lots of product, and they're doing it at a very good time, timing-wise. And I don't know how far out they plan for these things, but they're timing it very well.
Far out. Yeah.
With the growth of the player base, we've had a substantial amount of increase in the amount of players. And they are hitting this at just the right time.
I totally agree. I think you're right.
Yep.
I think you're absolutely right about the timing and the overall strategy, because we've got so many factors going on here. We have an increase in player base. We have the rise of their esports and streamers. We've got arenas sucking in new people. We've got...
And then them transitioning over into paper.
And transitioning into paper. I think, what was it? Was it last year where Hasbro had reported the decrease in profits? Or they had some financial problems because they were a little lower.
They basically pegged all that on the loss of Toys R Us.
Yeah.
You know.
But like all of these things all together, now we're hitting it really hard and over the top.
I'm sure WotC's overlords in the form of Hasbro has reined down the demands. You will print us more money. We must have it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm sure there's some of that at play here.
And all those Mythic Invitationals and all this stuff all together is making a giant push.
Yeah, I think they are trying to sell a tremendous amount. And we'll see. And I think this is the way to do it. And
it's definitely something people are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. The interest is high, and even my interest is peaked as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm a jaded old guy.
Yeah, we're both kind of jaded, and we've seen it kind of over the long-term life of the game. So, it's interesting to see where this will go.
Absolutely.
And I think it also, to also tie that in, is a culmination of their storyline. I mean, the whole Planeswalkers and with Bolas and it's been a building storyline for how many years?
I'm not confident they'll even end that storyline. They seem to keep going back to that well. The Gatewatch and all of this BS, like they can't let that story die because they seem so bad at world building and storytelling. Like their storytelling abilities are terrible. I hope they finish something.
I would not. Predictions here. I wouldn't be surprised if the fight with Bola
ends in an escape.
Escape, and he gets away, or his death is not confirmed. Like somehow he fakes his death, or something happens, or maybe he is imprisoned, so like he can come back at some point.
Yeah, I don't see them giving any finality to any story that they've got, especially when they don't have any other good stories.
Yeah.
And even this story is played out.
It is very played out. I also put as a prediction out there that some of the Gatewatch, one or more, will die in this event.
It's about time. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Do you think any of the, quote, deceased Planeswalkers are going to return for this?
I don't think so.
I think Elspeth died, right?
I believe so. I think
there was a couple that died.
At the end of Almonquette, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Because, I mean, I think the whole story, like, her death was witnessed as well, I think. So it wasn't like a... So, I don't know. I don't know if they need to really tap that well, but...
I wouldn't be surprised for, like, a big twister. You know, their spirits return for the final fight or something like that.
You know, or if they somehow do something funny with the timeline.
Yeah,
I could see some sort of timeline.
They came back from Planeswalker Heaven to...
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But I would like some finality. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good.
So, I guess maybe just to wrap things up, you know, I guess, who is your favorite Planeswalker? And if there is in this set, how do you feel about it?
You know, I really don't have a favorite. I really probably would enjoy seeing Garruk come back. He was probably one of my favorites overall. I enjoyed, like, his whole storyline where his whole deal was, you know, he was just a hunter and he was after the sport, and that was his whole deal. I kind of missed that.
Yeah.
Just aggressive. Like, he's not like the noble dude trying to rescue...
Apex predator.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to rescue a plane from Bolas. He wasn't trying to join the Gatewatch or fight the Eldrazi.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing any of that. He just wanted to kill things.
Yeah.
And kill the most powerful things he could get.
Yeah.
So, I kind of think he was probably one of the better, more interesting Planeswalkers for that reason. He didn't have ulterior motives. He didn't, like... He just wanted to do what he wanted to do. And he didn't care what anybody else wanted either. So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So he was probably my overall favorite. And we haven't seen him in a while.
We haven't seen... They have hinted that he will be around.
We'll see.
Yeah. I assume in this set as well.
I guess we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
I would say he's probably among the top favorites.
Yeah. And one of the originals. Yeah.
I would say... Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So... Very good.
I would say for me, I always kind of liked him from the beginning with Sorin. I always thought he had a fun storyline. He touched a lot of different storylines. He, we had a whole history behind him and Innistrad and Aberson.
His story came to prominence.
You know, he was one of the kind of centuries-old Planeswalkers who, you know, was kind of a master, and he was a vampire, and... he had a whole,
I like the whole story with Avacyn and all that. Like, that was pretty cool.
And he had to kill her.
Yeah,
and then they kind of took it as a new storyline with him fighting Nahiri.
Yep.
And that
I liked that storyline a lot better. You're exactly right. It was one of the more interesting ones because it wasn't a dumb Gatewatch thing.
It wasn't any Gatewatch involved. He was out there kicking ass and doing what he wanted, like on his own accord. And I guess, and we know so far that he has been spoiled and things. And he at the end of Innistrad, he was imprisoned in stone by Nahari, but he is free now and is continuing his vengeance.
Oh, good.
And apparently he doesn't care about the whole Bolas and things. He's just after killing her. He's just out for revenge.
We'll see how that.
And he's been spoiled with Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord. Creatures and Planeswalkers you control have lifelink. He can plus up to deal damage to player or Planeswalker, and he can return something with cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it becomes a vampire as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I thought traditionally his Planeswalker cards have been very good.
They have been good. They haven't always cost low amounts, but they've always had pretty fun effects.
Exactly.
So, very good. Well, I think that about does it for this episode. We hope the audio is clear enough that we can make this work. And thanks for joining us on location here in Raleigh. And as always, may your picks be profitable. Have a great day.